Welcome everyone, how are you doing? Welcome to our XXL Core Booster. So we're doing all core abs, center exercises, and it looks easy, but we're lying on the back here to start with. Shoulders and head are down on the floor. Then try the beginner version because we have tons of time here. So bend the knees are above your hips, and then simply extend one leg after the other. Simply, but we're not putting the leg back down on the floor, so we keep hovering and simply extending a few centimeters above ground and coming back here into that tabletop position. So then one knee always stays above the hip and the other leg extends. Perfect. Turn around, lie on the belly. We're starting here on the belly. Then lift arms and legs from the thighs, lift the head slightly, and then try to turn onto one side. Control the movement, and then controlly roll back onto the belly. Try the other side. So don't throw yourself to the side, but control your center by sucking the navel in, brace your core, control, and then turn onto one side. These are the beetle turns. I think Pilates invented those, or someone before him, and he thought that's cool. So turn onto one side and turn back onto the belly and turn on the other side. Keep those legs lifted at all times, so even on the side. Aren't I great? I'm throwing this at you right at the beginning so you know what you're heading for. Intermediate version of the leg stretches. So this time we're including the hands. Stretch those arms out, hands above the shoulders, and then simply reach out, hands behind the head, and then stretch those legs out contralaterally, diagonally. Those knees can stay bent, don't worry, we're doing the advanced version later. So the knees are always coming back over your hips. Knees are bent 90 degrees, and then stretch out and come back into your 90 degrees position. Your head and shoulders can stay on the floor, and your shoulders are more or less relaxed. What's not relaxed is your core, your center. So pull your navel in. Wonderful. Turn around. We're getting onto our elbows here into Sphinx position. So forearms are parallel, forearms are on the ground, elbows are underneath the shoulders, and now come up into your elbow plank, hips are shoulder height, and now push those heels back and come back forward. So when you're pushing forward, engage those calves, push forward from your ankles, and when pushing back, push into your elbows and your forearms to push your whole body backwards. Wonderful. Keep hovering. So those hips never go up and down, they stay on the same line. What you gotta do for that is narrow your hip points, sucking that belly in, narrowing your waistline. Fantastic. Come onto your right elbow now. Shake it out a bit if you need to. You can always sit down or pause the video if you need to. Else, here we go. Right elbow's on the floor, forearm is on the floor as well. Then come with one foot on top of the other and lift those hips up into a straight line. It's a bit harder if you have your upper hand on your hip. Gives you a little bit of more weight on those hips. You can extend the arm alongside your ear. That makes it a bit easier. Or push onto your wrist if you need a little bit of extra help. Then you can grab your right wrist with the left upper hand. Otherwise, just keep pushing. Don't lower down all the way. Just keep hovering over the floor and push back up. Keep breathing. Don't forget to breathe. Then swing over, hump over, roll over, and come onto the other side. This time our left elbow's on the ground. Left outer edge of the foot is on the ground, 2 feet on top of each other, and then lift those hips to the sky or ceiling. get into the same position as you've done on the other side. So if the hand was on your hip, keep your hip there. If your arm was extended alongside your ear, extend the arm again. And if you were grabbing your wrist with the right hand, then do the same now, just to help you push up a bit more. Another variation here could be to have one foot on top of, in front of the other, if this is a bit too wobbly for you. Great music. So it all sounds and looks very smooth and chilly, but this one definitely isn't. Advanced Superman means we're starting in a standard plank position. Hands are underneath the shoulders, hips are shoulder height, and now diagonally try to lift arms and legs out and come back into plank. So this is especially challenging if you're trying to stay parallel to the ground with your hips and shoulders. So don't sway onto each side when you're lifting, but stay controlled. Shoulders and hips stay parallel to the ground. Navel stays in. Hip points stay narrow, so you're engaging your glutes when lifting, and you're engaging your latissimus when lifting the arm. It's an isolated movement of lifting arms and legs while your core stays centered. Wow, you did it. Okay, let's have a little bit of mobility work here after all this very focused exercising. So come up into a wide stance, bend these knees 90 degrees out, hips stay low, and then open those arms to the side, palms up, and shift to either side. So you're kind of following your hand with your shoulder. So we're not going in any other plane than sideways, so not forward or backwards, nor upwards or downwards. We're just shifting sideways while we keep sitting on our imaginary stool. Kneecaps pointing to the second and third toes, so really pointing outwards, engaging those glutes here while we're pushing our abs to the sides. Cool. Stand up for a second if you need to. Wiggle, wobble, shake those legs. They might need it, and then come back. Sit down onto your imaginary stool. Kneecaps pointing out, knees bent 90 degrees. Then fold those arms behind the ears and lean sideways this time. So this is like a side crunch, but you can probably go very far. So try to reach with your elbow to the outside of your thigh. Outside of your thigh. Lean over as much as possible. Pull one elbow up, one elbow down, creating length in your arms here. Keep breathing, because sometimes when we do static work, we forget to breathe. Wonderful. Ready to get back to work? So we're standing in a side leaning one-legged balance stance. What is that? So stand on your left leg, knee and toes pointed out slightly, and then lean over to the left side, bring your right leg up, and then crunch to the side, stay in balanced position. So we're not dropping that leg anytime down for now. We keep hovering this leg a little lower than hip height, or if you can, hip height. And the upper body is leaning sideways to the left, arms extended, and then crunch it all together. Hands touch the knee, or if you can, hands touch the foot or ankle or whatever you can grab on this leg. Engaging our side body here, our oblique muscles. Relax for a second. You always have 10 seconds in between exercises, and then we work for 45. So let's work. This time, standing on the right side. Your toes and kneecaps are pointing out. Now lift and shift to the side. Lean over to the right. Leg left is lifting. And now crunch it all together. As you can see, our upper body actually stays really firm. So we have a very controlled holding position here for the side leaning upper body, but our arms and legs are working. So we're coming with the hands towards the knee, or with the hand towards the calves or ankles or foot, whatever you can grab. Keep breathing and suck this navel in. Narrow your hip points, narrow your waistline. And if it wobbles, it's totally fine. So here we go, trying to get you out of balance on the ground. Arm lifts, come into a plank position, hands underneath the shoulders. Our hips stay shoulder height or slightly lower here. Now narrow your hip points, control your center, and lift one arm after the other. Lifting with your latissimus. So when you're lifting, use this movement to pull the shoulder back and down your rib cage, elongating your neck, elongating your head all the way through the crown of your head. Keep breathing and make sure your hip points stay parallel to the floor. Navel stays sucked in. 10 seconds break, then we come back into plank position. So if you need to get more rest for your wrists and shoulders, pause this video. So come back into plank. And here we go for a variation of our 2 knee runs. So that's knee, extension, knee, and change. Knee, extension, knee, and change. So you come with the knee forward to your chest, then extending the leg backwards and up, and coming back. So since you're in a plank position, the hips always stay as low as the shoulders or even lower. So this is hip mobility. We're using the knee to come forward. We're extending the leg backwards. The knee comes back forward again. Hip mobility. All the while, we're exercising our center core here to stay centered. Always be aware of your shoulders. Shoulders away from your ears. Can't stress this enough. Otherwise, you'll have shoulder pain afterwards, and I don't want that. Cool animal move here to get your fantasy and imagination going. So start in bear position, knees are hovering over the floor, 90 degrees bend, and then do a 180 turn somehow. I'll let you figure it out how to do it. So try to come from bear position into crab position and back into bear position. So do at least one 360 degree turn till you're ending back in bear position, and then come back. If you have the space, you can do 2-3 rolls and then come back 2-3 rolls. Wonderful. Hope that relaxed your brains a little bit. A little fun move. And here we go for a little adventure challenge, the rollback lunge. So get yourself a cushioned mat if you don't, and then roll back onto your floor until you reach your shoulders, press back with your hands, roll forward, and then come up into lunge. So roll back, press forward with the hands, and then come up into lunge. So you need to engage those arms really quickly. So bend those elbows, place those hands behind the shoulders as soon as you roll backwards to press against the floor, push yourself forward into lunge position. And one trick here, always cross over one leg in front of the other, otherwise your legs might get twisted up or you always end up with the same leg forward. So when you're rolling back, change leg or change crossover every time. Cool. How about having a little side kick out here? So this is the XXL core booster, so this has to be in it. So we're starting in bear position, hands underneath the shoulders, knees 90 degrees bend, and then open the right arm, kick through with the left leg. Open the left arm, kick through with the right leg. Right arm opens, left leg kick through, so it's a diagonal kick through, and we're always coming back into bear position. This makes it so much easier. So don't come back into a plank, don't stretch those knees out. Always come back into this hovering, knees 90 degrees bend, hovering over the floor position, which is the bear pose. Brace your belly. I think you're doing wonderfully. Does it feel good? I hope it does feel good. 3 more seconds, get one more in. 3 more exercises to go. We have 2 more standing, 1 more on the floor, and then we stretch. So come back up into standing, leg pendulum, staying on your left leg, and then swing that right leg forward and swing it all the way back. So you should be able to do half a circle there. So swinging the leg forward, stay upright, brace your core, and then swing the leg backwards like in our isolated butt leg lifts, bending the upper body forward, hinging forward. Otherwise, you will not be able to lift the leg 90 degrees backwards. Keep your balance. And also here, opening these arms to the sides will allow you to keep your balance a lot better. Open those arms to the side, swing forward, swing backwards. This is also like a little bit of a hamstring stretch. I guess you feel it. So we're stretching the hamstrings here on both sides. Try the other side. Stay on your right leg balances, and then swing the left leg forward and swing the left leg backwards. Open arms to the sides, keep your balance. And now if you can, challenge, point the foot when swinging forward, then flex the foot just to get through over the grass or the button, and then point the leg again when swinging backwards. So that's point, flex to go through, point again, flex to go through, point, flex, point. It starts to get really intuitive once you have it, because hey, if you point the foot and you're swinging through, the floor will stop you. So don't let the floor stop you. Side knee crunches, this time not in the air, but with a little bit of a toe touch on the ground. So bend the left leg and then come up with the right knee towards the left hand, closing and opening here again. So this movement should be very short, very quick, and very focused on your side waist. So we're crunching and twisting the side waist here, really isolating the oblique muscles. Shoulder and hip, right shoulder and right hip are coming together. Keep breathing and keep focused. This is a very focused stare I'm having here. A very focused look. Yeah, it's just because I was focusing and concentrating. Shake it out a bit. Have a wibble and a wobble and a little round on the dance floor. And here we go. Right leg stands, left leg is coming up. So those arms, second one around, you know the move. So the left leg is coming towards the right elbow. And I would like you to move those shoulders as much as you can. You know, I'm a big fan of shoulder movement, shoulder rotation, to get this contralateral movement into our spine and allow our spine to keep its mobility. So right now, right here, you can work the shoulder and spine mobility by twisting your core so the elbow and knee contralaterally come together. Perfect. Last exercise, the crab toe touches. And last one for your wrists and your elbows and your shoulders. So come into crab position. Fingers are pointing towards your feet. Knees are 90 degrees bent, and now lift those hips up and grab your opposite toe with your hands. So grabbing the opposite toe with your hands without ever dropping your hips lower. And this can also become a little bit of a challenge for your balance, especially after roughly 20 minutes of XXL core booster. But this is the last one for 10 seconds and you can do it. Stay engaged, keep those hips up, make sure your shoulders are floating backwards. And here we go for a nice stretch. So come up into standing, keep those feet parallel, heels are pressing into the floor, outer edges and big toe mount. Push into the floor and then grab one hand, lean sideways, come back up, grab the other hand and lean sideways. So make this a very slow movement, just alternate left and right. Make sure to stay on the same plane, don't hang forward or backwards. And exhale when you're side bending. Inhale when coming up. Exhale when side bending. Inhale when coming up. Keep your core slightly engaged as we did for 20 minutes. And I hope you enjoyed it. See you all next time.